So are you guys gonna bomb another hotel?
Don't bomb the hotels I like to stay in. That pissed me off. They decided to bomb one I love the most. It really was aggravating. No. This was in the UAE. You went after a hotel I really liked.
Are you gonna send a drone into my friend's condo in Dubai?
Could you lay off Dubai? I have like shopping stuff I want to do there. It's not really, you need to like chill on Dubai.
It was a good place for hideout, but not anymore.
Yeah, dude, hiding out from your family and your children, that's where you bombed.
Isn't there like a shit ton of criminals that find a way to stay there and they don't get extradited? We neutralized it. Neutralized the straight into the body already. So good.
Some news, guys. The idea of after Hezbollah fired an anti-tank missile and mortar shells at soldiers in southern Lebanon. Multiple rockets targeting troops in the area were also intercepted. And then the IRGC Quds Force commander says, I quote, "No one can stand against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Everything you have seen from Hezbollah is merely the tip of the iceberg," unquote.
It's true. The Jews don't stand. They actually have bots next to the Iron Dome system, and they have remote control. So they don't stand. They do not put us missiles in the sky.
Do you see the new laser missile defense?
It's fantastic.
Isn't it? It's incredible. I saw like they did a demonstration. Amazing. It's
Yeah,
cheap.
I mean, it's gonna change the world. Like it's gonna change. Like basically what Israel's invented is saying, yeah, build your rockets. Most of the world is gonna not benefit by rockets for sure. Fantastic.
The funny thing is, Iran is calling victory, but their followers, correct me if I'm wrong, they're protesting against Volleyball. That's to Volleyball. They want him dead because they think that they should not make a deal and they should keep on fighting. It's really funny. It's like they're going against their own government, which they actually like, calling Volleyball's murder.
It's all gonna be okay, Glow. I woke up this morning to catch a flight out of Morocco, and the guy driving the car was listening to recital the Quran, chanting the Quran the whole way. So I feel like whatever I want today, I have special power with Allah. So everything's gonna be okay.
Thanks, God.
Supporters of just turn them around and brainwash them to the other temporarily make peace. And I'm very, very unhappy and skeptical about this deal because there is this clash of civilization. The worldview of Islamic State in Iran is anti-West and anti-Semitic.
He's bald, bitch.
And it's impossible to bring them
I'm bald, bitch.
against them. If you don't fight them now, we will need to fight them tomorrow when they become nuclear. And I'm really disappointed in the Trump administration. And I really hope that it will not last, especially since J.D. Vance has spoken about $3 billion, $300 billion funds being transferred to the Islamic regime. That's even more than $150 billion rumored that Obama paid them. And even in the worst rumors, they're going to double on that. And how could they not learn from history?
What do you think Trump can do? I mean, realistically, Trump can't put boots on the ground. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, it's not much.
Finish the job.
How? But how?
No, they can't. The allies participating. They just to show their allies are not set.
The allies aren't helping because of the way they've been asked. The allies have been demanded like they're vassal states, which in practicality in the American Empire they are, but nobody likes being approached as a vassal state. And some of I don't think it's a huge accomplishment. I think like what Barack Obama this weekend graciously said is, he's going to wind up having to make a deal that's not really any better than what he did, and started a war to do it. What's interesting too is you look at really what, for all the bombs dropped, all the kinetic action, what really moved this thing was not the bombing and the kinetic stuff. It was economic. It was Iran closed the strait. We did the blockade. That was the most significant stuff that happened, right? In the entire conflict. It was these, all this kinetic stuff for what, right? For something that probably could have been solved through diplomatic means, but they would have taken hard diplomatic work. It's what Obama did. He spent years in Switzerland, not sending Wyckoff and the Wonder Kid.
Oh, years
Jared
of Obama
over.
working in
I don't think
Switzerland.
that's
All the
really
hard
enjoyed.
work he did.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you for that, Scott. We'll go to Howard, followed by Dave.
Hello, Gary. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be very succinct because, Alan definitely expressed key sentiment. But, Gary, I come back to...
Either you join or it's the end of name, and you guys are on your own.
And I don't think we should risk the larger strategic interest in the United States because people want to bomb Iran. Yeah, they're not going to help us.
But that's a threat to everybody. That's a threat to the West.
I'm not saying it's not. But if you look at U.S. defense estimates every year for the last 50 years, they rank in accordance. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. North Korea is in the 4th position, Iran is in the 3rd position. What Pepe is saying, which makes so much sense, is in order to do this, you would have to have at least $1 trillion appropriated from Congress, which Congress doesn't agree to on either side of the aisle. You would have to have something like 1 million raised and trained American troops so you don't put U.S. national security at risk all over the world. And then you need the commitment of the American public to make that war possible. The Congress isn't going to agree. The American public don't want the war, and we've not raised 1 million plus troops, which would be the invasion force needed to put down the regime. Right? I'm not saying you can't get there. I'm not saying a future U.S. president doesn't do this. I'm saying the way we set it up now is not that kind of success.
Or we could have just bombed the shot, which we didn't for whatever reason.
That's not the only way to do it. You don't need necessarily boots on the ground. Just keep up the good work, keep what they were doing, hitting the leaders one after the other, just like Israel.
That is the only way to do it. The regime controls every office from Ayatollah to dog catcher. How do you root out the dog catcher if you don't have troops on the ground?
No, they could.
Can I comment?
Yeah, this was never predicted to be something to be won by air.
Think that you Israeli big.
Can I comment?
That's helpful.
Can they call me Israeli? I'm kind of proud of that.
Nobody thinks you can win this just by dropping bombs.
How are you, everyone?
Even when it comes to the population, I don't even know. I mean, you would have to have a significant amount of arms, basically smuggled into Iran and get into the hands of the right people, and then pray that they would actually be willing to do the job, the civilians, that is. I have no idea what that situation is like. But other than that, this is why I thought the whole us attacking them in the first place was stupid. What teeth do we have ultimately to go in and take them out? We don't. We don't have the will to do it. And so
Americans look like a fucking paper tiger.
Yes, and so it was the dumbest thing, and this is, I know everybody was so optimistic when this happened, and they're like, oh my god, Pepe's being whiny bitch, he hates Jews. No, it's just like, at the end of the day, will it make anything better? I don't know. In fact, maybe it's going to make things better for the IRGC, and it would have been a big waste of fucking time.
The problem is Trump stopped it in the middle of the process. If they continued, if they hit Karlibov, if they hit Vahidi, the way they hit the rest of them, just like Israel wanted to do, but Trump stopped them. Because Trump is obsessed with repeating the Venezuela scenario in Iran. What he doesn't notice is that, unlike Venezuela, there is not a single person in the Iranian regime, in the Islamic State in Iran, that you can deal with. But every single one of them is anti-West and anti-Semitic. All the ones that you could possibly deal with and put some sense into them are either killed or forced into exile or are in prison, rotting in prison. So that is one of Trump's biggest mistakes, that he's obsessed with repeating Venezuela scenario. That is why he kept
what is the social contract of the Islamic Republic of Iran? What's their social contract that they have?
Please, you sound like an interrogator, Muhammad.
Well, answer his question. Why don't we
No, I'm just asking a question. I have the answer.
That's the question. Go back to your passage.
I'm not Basij or anything.
Why do you Arabs always come into these rooms trying to derail like you give a shit about Iran? It's so fucking annoying.
No,
You just do
first
this
of
to
all,
have a fight
I'm Persian.
This is so retarded.
First of all, I'm Persian. I'm a pro-Israel.
Muhammad's asking, he's questioning Sanos because he sounds a little bit on the IRGC side, if you guys see what
No, I just asked a simple question. Like, why do you get angry? I'm saying I'm pro-Israel and I'm Persian. I don't know why you're labeling me for asking one question. It was just a simple question. It's so interesting that all of you labeled me, and it is scary. Like, I don't know.
Let's continue.
So I just asked, what is the social? We're discussing how to bring down the regime, and in order to bring down something, we need to understand its foundations. So the question that I asked, that you started to label me, I don't know if anybody else asked this question.
I can tell you their foundation model: to protect the Islamic regime revolution and to spread the Shia Islam. That's their model.
That's the reason that they didn't collapse, you believe?
No, the reason they didn't collapse is because the Islamic regime, prior to the American attacks, Sayyid Ali actually was smart enough to decentralize the regime. With decentralization, that's what the Pentagon miscalculated. They thought if they just kill him, the whole thing would collapse. But prior to this attack, he actually decentralized the whole thing and split the whole thing into Kansas regime all over Iran.
Okay, so can I give my 2 cents on it? If you don't label me.
I have another opinion.
Yeah, Sana, you go too. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Very quickly, I think the reason they didn't collapse is that Trump has kept them alive because he wants to deal with them the way he did in Venezuela.
No, I asked, what is their social contract that they didn't collapse? I didn't ask why didn't Trump.
Social contract doesn't really mean anything.
What do you mean social contract doesn't mean anything?
Okay, go ahead. What does it mean?
Okay, so to go back in history, because also I'm writing a paper about this, which is interesting. Iranian regime is this, I would say, after the Safavids fell, Safavids were the Turks in Iran, and they brought a religion, they brought the Shia from Lebanon to Iran. Do you agree with me on this part? Yeah, every part that you don't agree, just say.
No, I don't want to disagree with you. I just want to make sure you make your point.
Yeah. So my point is that the geography and the topography of Iran, especially for the Persians in the middle that are vulnerable, is a regime that is a theocrat. Because as you see, the Sassanids, the Safavids.
You just can't tell us it's a theocratic regime?
No, just let me finish it. And then they brought a new religion. And then I'm not saying it's moral or anything, but because theocracy has people that are fanatical about it, they are ready to die for it. So even like with less and less capabilities, they are able to do more because they are willing to suffer greatly in order to achieve their end goals.
Okay, so that someone proves that America needs to be more aggressive. So you're just saying they're more resistant. So
No, I'm not saying. No, I didn't say they should be.
Okay, so what's your point?
Pacifist or aggressive. Then you come to the Safavids. Safavids.
Can you tell us at least a solution to this aggressive thing?
No, let us understand it first, and then come to the end. Okay?
I think so. Yeah, but let him. Yeah, I think so.
Just let him finish. Please round it up, Muhammad. Just
Okay.
summarize.
So, as you have seen in the last protests in Iran, the Turks didn't come out that much.
Yes, they did. I said, why are you creating a divide now? I'm not
that much. I said. I'm saying that much. Why divide?
Yeah,
I'm saying that much.
No, every single city came.
Did they came as much as they did in the Kurdish parts of
They were
Iran?
always.
Gas went up, everybody worry about they cannot get fertilizer, but everything has been going through a Strait of Hormuz up to today. Back to you.
And just to think about it, what would we do if Panama closed the canal? I mean, to me, we have the assets. They were there in that theater. And again, I'm not saying do any kinetic military action other than put the location of those ships in that strait and control it, declare it as free international waters, and the rest is it. But anyways, I'm not a military person, but I do ask that question now as we think through, really, what does this deal get the United States? And it seems like it gets opening up a strait that was previously open prior. So we didn't really get it. If anything, we lost on this deal for sure. At least right now, from what's been shared, it does not look good. And I'll leave it there. Thanks, Gary.
It's almost like a fireman setting a fire to be the hero to put the
Yes,
fire out.
yes, exactly.
So here's the real question. It's not the way you framed it, in my opinion. The real question is, why didn't we prevent the closing of the Strait of Hormuz? Because all of the our intelligence agencies aren't stupid. And I've heard interviews with ex-CIA analysts who say that they've been writing for years that in a direct confrontation between the United States and Iran, the first thing Iran would do, they've been presenting this to the White House and to the military, the first thing that Iran would do would be to close the Strait of Hormuz. So it was not only predictable, it was predicted. So we could have blockaded the strait and prevented any Iranian, their little tiny boats going in there to lay mines, or their mine-laying operation, because we knew that this is what they were going to do. I think that's the bigger question, actually, Howard. And I don't think whatever deficits the U.S. military has and all of that play into this at all. I cannot imagine that the United States Navy could not have controlled the Strait of Hormuz if it had been ordered to.
Gary, I agree with you. And at a time when our fearless leader publicly stated multiple times that Iran's Navy was completely destroyed too.
Well, there's that. I'll get to you in a second, Marshall, to give you a chance to get acclimated. We'll go to Dave, and then we'll back to Marshall.
Very short. Anson say Americans are very divided. All they care is $4 per gallon. And this is exactly what is the next milestone, 20 days from now, 5th of July. When the price is so low, the gasoline so low, people can fly cheaply to celebrate 4th of July. That is the milestone. And everything else, Iranian life, everything is really frustration, irrelevant. Exactly what Anson said.
Yeah, that's to the point that I made earlier, that in my opening salvo, that the president got what he wanted, potentially, and that's a reduction in gas prices, potentially, as we go into the midterms. But what does that do for the Iranian people? What does that do for Israel? What does that do for the exportation of terrorism? And do we have any guarantees that the nuclear weapons program will actually be dismantled? And I think a lot of people, until they see the final draft, are going to have questions about that. And even after the final draft, are going to have questions about that. Do we move beyond where the JCPOA was, that the president tore up, because it was an Obama negotiated agreement? Did he tear it up because it was bad, or did he tear it up because it was negotiated by Obama? If he tore it up because it was bad, then this agreement better be better than the one that he tore up. Otherwise, why tear it up? Let's hope it is. We don't know. Again, that's the whole premise of our discussion today, because we haven't seen the memorandum of understanding. But the odd part is that the parties involved all have different synopses of what is contained, which is really kind of odd. Marshall, followed by Armids.
I'll believe a deal when I see it. He said we have a deal a bunch of times. We don't have a deal. I will reflect back on Anson. If we're not going to do this the right way, we shouldn't be doing it at all. So, it doesn't make the Iranians any less of a threat to our allies in the Mideast. It doesn't make them any less of a threat to us on the U.S. mainland. But if we're unwilling to engage public support, if we're unwilling to go to Congress to get support, if we're unwilling to ask for the appropriation, if we're unwilling to troops, which would need to finish off the regime, then aside for a few weeks of reprisals, we shouldn't have been there in the first place. So, what I fear is it just makes us look weak. Makes us look like we can't control stuff. And a huge part of the cornerstone of the American empire post-World War II was the ability to control the waterways of trade, right? Because we are a seaborne power. We are not a land power. And if we're not going to do it the right, if you're not going to do it the right way, you shouldn't be doing it at all. Otherwise, it's just a waste of resources, time, and political capital.
And lives.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That all the people gotta die. You know that's the worst part about war. You know.
Something that has not been discussed today. We discussed it in the past.
Just in case Freeman come back, you're in the matrix.
Muhammad was about to give a response now, Muhammad. So, it's not a response, it's just like talking with each other, like cordially. So, he's right, like, it's not like he loves Turks for the sake of the Turks. He needs support. The Islamic Republic needs the support of the Turks and the Persians because these are the two biggest tribes in Iran. And I am not in favor of tribal this stuff, to be honest with you, okay? I'm just analyzing the situation. And then, as I said, my belief is that they try to have their Shia identity, which is true, which is core to them, okay? Which gives them these fanatical people which are ready to die, which they think if they die, they go to heaven, okay? Which is not a good thing, but that's their vanguard comes from. And then in order to keep the country from going into different roads or ways or anything, they try to keep the Persians are the core, okay? They are the main, they are in the middle, they are the vulnerable. Even if you look at the Iranian-Iraq war, per capita, you had more people killed from the middle of the Iran, which has no access to sea or that much water or anything, okay? Isfahan had the most per capita of people killed, okay? And then that's one part, so they have so much at stake in the country. And then the other part, the biggest part, is the Turks, which the president and the supreme leader are Turk. It is not to say that, they are that tribalism that he cares for Musavi more than Ahmadinejad. But it means he tries to make sure that the Turk people of Iran have a stake in the country.
It's been going long enough. Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I just back in it's got
Jason, I think your voice is messed up.
Jason, your matrix. Jason, matrix.
I don't know. I think that a lot of people could agree with me. I do not get your points.
I do get his point.
One sentence.
Can I say something?
Yeah, Moin.
What Muhammad is telling us is a narrative that the Islamic regime desperately try to push out. And the leftist media literally picked it up and ran with it. What was that narrative?
Tribalism thing.
Exactly.
I know what you're
Iranians are not united. You're gonna get, oh yeah, the country's gonna be split apart. Be careful. Are you selling us the boogeyman?
No, did I say?
You're selling me the boogeyman.
No, did I say that? Did I say that?
Let me please
You were going
respond.
there.
No, I'm saying the social contract that they have,
I have a
where
few
they get their
different-
support from.
Well, I have a few different
Things that happen geopolitically as excuses to kill people who are not responsible. David, followed by Merrill.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, David.
Hello, everybody. So I think my only response or answer to Howard's question, we only need to look to the attacks on U.S. Military assets. In 1988, there was the attack on the SS Cole by an inadvertent missile coming from an Iraqi, I believe, fighter pilot. Destroyed, killed 37 of our servicemen in that excursion. The 2000 SS Cole event, where 17 sailors, servicemen were killed in that terrorist attack. How many servicemen potentially could have died already if we attempted to do just that very thing? Iran can rain down missiles and drones from these hillsides where they're protected by their geography.
Go to ChicagoMaryVote.com. Thanks, everybody.
Imagine the Democrats having a field day with that information. Not a field day because they want to, but using that as a campaign messaging that no more forever wars. Our administration got us involved in a quagmire. And here are the deaths of the servicemen and women that died doing that very thing he said he was going to get us involved in. So that's the response, I think. I think Trump had to navigate the situation such that he didn't lose any more service above and beyond what we've already lost in this very expensive geopolitical campaign that has resulted in nothing for us, nothing for the Israelis. I heard it argued that the Iranian people, there's factions within Iran that aren't even happy and satisfied that there's some sort of memorandum, that they don't want any deal cut. So, the new Ayatollah, the deceased one that we killed, he's got voices in his neck of the woods that are just saying, hey, don't give him anything, right? And they're saying that by handing over a deal to the United States, we're indirectly giving them control over our nuclear facilities and assets, and we become sort of another colonized version of the United States, which is what they had under the Shah regime. So these are just some quotes and some discussions that CNN reported from the rallies that have taken place in Tehran with the lead up to this agreement being signed. So Gary, I think at the end of the day, it is expensive. We lost a lot of face. Trump's trying to say, he got a great deal for us. And then there's also the matter, Gary, of the negotiations, I guess, centered around how much of the rebuild process of Iran that Trump wanted to hand in, apparently. That he was looking to cement some deals with regard to reconstruction. His envoys, his son-in-law and Witkoff are real estate guys. So, and we saw the response to Jared Kushner's deal in Albania go sideways with the massive response there. So, against that development project. So, yeah, Gary, I think as well, Gideon Levy was on the record as saying that this was Netanyahu's life work, which was to take out the regime. Alan referred to Netanyahu as emblematic of the great Cyrus in the Old Testament, and I think he could have won that title with a more serious response by the Trump administration. you're right, Gary. In my world, I deal with a lot of American Jews, and I heard one from today who voted for him. I hope he drops dead. I don't mean that. I don't mean that somebody kills him, but that he hopefully has a heart attack or something. So.
Well, I don't want to hear that kind of talk, even if you're quoting somebody else on this stage. But, you know, I mean, we have elections. He's going to be gone in 2 years, and
right.
You know.
Again, I apologize for anything inflammatory. I'm just anecdotally expressing the opinion and comments of one person that I spoke with. So if that guy's talking like that, unfortunately, imagine how others are also viewing this deal, whatever this deal is, this memorandum or this potential deal that's going to be struck, hopefully on Friday. So, but Gary, I don't think the world can absorb any more pain with regard to our oil assets are being drawn down in such a way that the reserves are getting critically low. And even though this deal does get signed and oil starts moving again, it's going to take a while for prices to come down. It's going to take a while for stockpiles to rise again. And then, of course, that only happens if they stay open, right? If the straits do stay open. So, and I don't understand why he isn't getting a better deal for the Iranian people in terms of the victims. There should be reparations for those families that have died on the streets of Tehran and elsewhere. There should be an immediate release of the bogus arrests of those family members that are being held captive by the regime for kangaroo courts and trials. So, you know, if you're not going to turn over the regime, at least, you know, provide some relief that way somehow with this huge amount of money we're giving them and allowing them to have access to it. So, anyway, I'll land there, Gary. Thanks for speaking.
Thank you, David. We'll go to Merrill, followed by Alan.
Well, it's a big win because they had to do it yesterday because Trump needed to be able to say last night for his big event that we won. And they're going to do something real big too because remember, he's having his big 4th of July. He's having a rally featuring himself. So that's a win in Trump's eyes. Now, if we listen carefully to what you told us, this sounds like Iran got nothing, actually, because it all depends on their performance in 60 days. So they're not getting money up front. If I'm understanding this, you're saying they're not getting money up front.
No, I'm saying that that's what the White House says, but Iran's characterization of it suggests that they will receive money sooner, although the exact timeline has not been presented to us. So obviously, the agreement, they can't agree on what the agreement is.
Correct. And I think it would be safe for us to say that Iran is not going to do anything without getting some money. They're going to get the money first. They will open up, yes, they'll open up the Straits of Hormuz, which, as Howard said, was open. It's reopening. It was open. It was open before we went there. And as you pointed out, and I watched, all these generals retired generals and retired intelligence agencies, day 3 said that about the Straits of Hormuz. So that should not have been such a big surprise to anybody. So, no. And we also have to take something else into consideration, or we should, which I don't think Trump does. And isn't Bibi going to be up for re-election?
There are elections in November, and of course, it doesn't mean you vote for Bibi for prime minister. That's not how it works. But would he be trying to put together another coalition and remain as prime minister? I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Right. And this is important. It's important to him. He can't just abandon. He can't just say, okay, fine, Lebanon, go ahead. Hey, Hezbollah, see you around. That's not how it's going to work. And that was, you did.
I don't think any candidate for prime minister would take that position. So I don't think it's unique to Netanyahu. Nobody.
No, I'm not saying that it is.
No, I'm not saying that you're saying. I'm not saying that you're saying that it is, but I just want to expand upon that by saying this is not a Netanyahu perspective that you are offering. It's an Israeli perspective. The Israelis cannot abide by allowing Iran to arm people who are attacking them on a daily basis. And that's full stop. I don't understand why people outside of Israel feel that that's a negotiable item. Nobody would expect the United States to accept such an agreement with a neighbor from which there were missiles being fired into the United States on a daily basis. Why we expect it out of Israel is beyond, I just don't understand.
I certainly don't. And you did a show on would Trump ever throw Israel under the bus? Yes. Yes. Trump got us into this. He can blame Israel, he can blame whoever he wants to. He got us into this. He did it with the best of military advice that he ignored. So we know that. He ignored it. And he didn't, it's not realistic for us to think that, oh, by the way, if you open up the Straits of Hormuz, does that mean you're gonna get 200 ships there every day? Like you used to?
So he says, the president, that the Strait of Hormuz will reopen immediately.
The Iranians are not saying that, interestingly. And he says, the president does, that the oil costs will drop precipitously almost immediately. But as has been explained here numerous times, when oil prices go up, they shoot up like a rocket. When they fall like a feather. Now, it is true that upon the announcement, the cost of the barrel of oil did decrease immediately. So it did affect the markets. But how long it takes it to get from the markets to the pump, and where you feel a difference when you're filling up your tank, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be immediate.
No, I don't think it's going to be immediate. And I don't believe, I believe Trump is telling everybody this is a win. Already, he is telling us this is a win. He said, J.D. Vance, the war's over. That's a win. We can say it's a win in that we're out of there. We're going to be out of there. But it's not a win. It's a horrible thing that he did. It's a horrible mistake that he made. He went in and he didn't go in the right way militarily. And also when we talk about the people that, the 13 people who died, we always forget to mention all the people who were injured severely. There are hundreds, if not 1,000 people that have been injured severely. And we forget to mention that because that's lifelong, some of those disabilities. That's lifelong. And I'm sorry, I believe
If
that
you
Trump
dead,
needed to do
that's a
this.
lifelong
He wants that
disability.
rally on the 4th of July. He's narcissistic and he's got other issues. And to say something yesterday, he was going to do anything, sign anything, just to be able to have his event last night, be able to say that he won, and be able to 4th of July have his rally. And the reality is, we didn't win anything, and it's going to cost a lot of money, a lot of money. And I don't think we're just going to pay for reconstruction to Iran. I bet you certain other countries are going to ask that got bombed as a byproduct of this. They got bombed, and I bet you they're going to ask for some money because of them having gotten bombed. And I just do. And it's not because I dislike Trump. It's because, frankly, he's an idiot. He was ignorant about it. He had good military advice, and he chose to ignore it. And that's that. And he lied to the American people. He wanted to. I've said this before. I'll finish. He's of the Mighty Mouse generation, and what he said was, "Here I come to save the day," just like Mighty Mouse. And he was glamorizing himself, and it's a horrible thing that he did to the Iranian people. And no, we're not going to give reparations to the Iranian people. We can't keep giving tax dollars to everybody. This is going to cost us a lot. And classy Obama, he said it right. He said it very, very
So classy.
classily. He said, well, I don't think it's going to be better than his. He didn't say, I think it's going to be worse, but he did say, I don't think it's going to be better. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. You talked about what people don't talk about a lot, the number of people, American service people injured. The Washington Post did an analysis of satellite imagery. It's a detailed analysis. And it concluded that damaged or destroyed, Iranian attacks damaged or destroyed at least 228 structures or pieces of equipment, hangars, barracks, fuel depots, aircraft, radars, communications, and air defenses across U.S. military sites in the region.
Where's the argument?
Marrying a nine-year-old.
Where is the argument for that? Where's the argument?
You need an argument.
I need an argument. Yes, I need a fucking argument. Give me a fucking argument.
I'll give you an Islamic argument.
Marvin, yeah, I get money because I deploy with the Corps. I deploy in active status. I don't deploy like, well, here, I'll just stay in a hospital. I'm deployed. No, it doesn't fuck like that. You know, you get hazard pay because you're in there's atmosphere. But the thing is what people can relate to is like, you know, Rafi was basically pointing it out. You know, should they get incentives for when they have to be deployed to a extraneous, dangerous environment like Iran? Say, like, if we were to even invade Iran, right? Should you get more, or should your family get more? Because you're putting your lives in harm's way. That'd be a very valuable question to think about, but we'll never go through that.
I mean, don't we already get like endangerment pay? You get hazard pay.
Yeah, you do that. You get hazard and endangerment.
You get overseas pay. You think about so the average soldier, let's say who's off the coast of Iran right now, they're getting hazard pay. They're getting, and I think hazard pay is it 150 or is it? Am I sure? Is it 150 every day you're out there or something like that? And then you get that plus you get endangerment pay. You know, you get your hazard pay, your overseas pay, and then you get family step pay if you're married and you're away from your family. So I mean, I think they're making good money. Like those incentives we're talking about, the soldiers already get those.
No, we're talking about like giving an extra limit on that. Like say like this specific deployment, this specific engagement. You know, oh, you volunteer for this one. Oh, you're in the Corps of the Navy. You don't get a choice on what deployment you're fucking getting. You're getting just getting whatever they assign to you. That's it. There's no choice. If your division and first division gets assigned, then that's what goes. That's it.
Yeah, but I would surmise you that because like I can tell you over here at Fort like a lot of soldiers knew they were I mean off the coast of Iran. Like we knew the money was good and we knew there was a high chance that nothing was gonna happen. But you're just sitting on a boat and a paycheck. So most of all of us wanted to do. We all were gonna get activated. And so like you're pissed that about what happened between you know when they're increasing the amount of troops in Germany and Poland because you know there are soldiers who were going over there. You know the money's still good. I was in Poland last year. I made a lot of good money. Okay? So I can tell you, man, that I in my opinion, you know, this is just my opinion. I don't speak for the military. I think we make good money enough. I think we make good enough money. I don't really see, you know what I'm saying? You get all these other extra incentives for being deployed and stuff. I don't see why the soldiers would need more money. They get a pay raise damn near every other year. Like, I don't even think people understand the magnitude of how much money we make. Do you realize at the end of last year, in December, soldiers got paid for 3 straight weeks. We got our paycheck.
Frigates could be used in the strait, like an Arleigh class destroyer could be used. But they do keep the capital. Well, they're called capital ships. They replaced the battleship in World War II, obviously. But they keep the capital ships, as Gary said, offshore for their protection. Sinking an American aircraft carrier would be a major coup d'etat for the Iranians.
Well, that was going to be my point, and I appreciate the getting down into the weeds on this because I think Gary, your point
is right, that we should have prevented it from being closed in the first place. And I think Howard's point is right in saying that why didn't we do that? And it would have been a smart thing to do. Okay, so that's my second point. My third point, Gary, is that I have yet to hear from anybody on your stage or anybody in the media, including you at this point, and maybe you can correct me on this, but what was really wrong with the JCPOA? What I hear is, well, they have all this nuclear stuff. Yes, once Trump ripped up the nuclear agreement, they have all of this, for medical grade and so forth. They have what was agreed to. But I don't think anybody has given a credible reason as to what was wrong with the JCPOA, except maybe the one that my namesake mentioned, which is that he said Biden was stupid for giving the Iranians money. Well, that may be true, but I have yet to hear a better option. They want some compensation for their involvement, and it seems to me that there's no such thing as a perfect agreement, and nobody has said what was really wrong with the JCPOA. Am I missing something?
JCPOA. There have been a lot of discussions about that on this stage in the past, maybe not recently, because it's not really the object of our discourse, but it raises its head again today, because what if this memorandum of understanding is a mirror image in large part to what the JCPOA was in the first place. There's been a lot of very heated discussion on the stage about the value or lack thereof of the JCPOA. I don't feel comfortable articulating both sides here because that's not our discussion today. So I'm not really prepared to, frankly. But there has been discussion of that, and I'm sure you can research the various arguments and question or validate the veracity for yourself.
Yeah, I think when I've heard them, I have questioned the veracity, and I think that's right. I mean, it's easy for anybody to get up and say something, but in terms of actual, and that's why I raised it today, because I recognize what you're saying is right, but in terms of actual solid news facts, I have yet to hear a good reason that the JCPOA was such a terrible thing. And I think the fact that it's going to be essentially redone, except probably weaker, proves the point. And I'll go to the last point that I want to make here, because I know your time is precious, and I want to leave on this point. One of the great things about the JCPOA was that it involved multiple nations. I don't think it involved Israel. So if someone wants to criticize the JCPOA for not bringing Israel into the process, then that's a legitimate criticism. But what I think will be wrong with the agreement that Trump gives, which is going to be in performance only, it's not going to be anything real, is that it will be a bilateral or, very, very weak in terms of other countries. And I think that makes it a weaker agreement.
So the president claims that this agreement is better than the JCPOA. We haven't seen it, so we can't assess it. His public statements, as always, are bombastic. In 2018, he called it a horrible one-sided deal that should never, ever been made. Great. But here's the reasons that they outlined. And some people are going to agree with these reasons, and some people probably, you will not. The sunset clauses and the temporary restrictions, the failure to address broader issues, weak inspections and verification, economic windfall to Iran, overall bad idea for the United States. It was a campaign promise that he made as well. So I would recommend to people, and I know I'm not delving into any of the nuances of this by just giving these little bullet points, but I think when we finally see the whatever they're going to sign, presumably on Friday, when we finally see the document, I think it would be absolutely prudent to hold it up to inspection against the JCPOA, look at the comparisons, look at the differences, and then we can individually and maybe even collectively decide whether this is a better deal than the one that the president ripped up.
I agree with that.
Very good point.
I have one more point I want to add to this, though, Gary, and that is to make kind of a crazy analogy. JCPOA and Obamacare. These were both works purpose. Nobody said when Obama left office that Obamacare was the last word on the subject. And I don't think Obama ever claimed that the JCPOA was the last word on the subject. But you have to start somewhere. And what Trump did is, instead of starting somewhere, he ripped the whole thing up and started again. And I think we're going to be in a much worse place for it and spend more money, and we've hurt our grandchildren. And I'll leave it there.
We will see, and we may see as soon as this weekend. Thank you, Alan. We'll go to Amir, followed by Wood.
Hi there, Gary, everyone else, all the mods. Yeah, I mean, with regards to JCPOA, I think you just touched upon it. It's the sunset clauses that was the problem. And if Trump can get a deal, which basically includes no enrichment and the removal of the enriched material, then that would be a better deal than JCPOA. I mean, that's just basic. Now, that being said, with regards to what's going on currently, I think, as quite a few people have mentioned, this is an MOU. It's not an agreement, and there's already hope, huge disputes on clauses 1 and 2, apparently, regarding IDF pulling out of Lebanon, going to the international borders, stop bombing South Beirut, and all sorts of things, which are obviously, I'm not going to go over them, you've already mentioned them there. We can only guess. But for me, it's interesting that U.S. Foreign Secretary Marco Rubio has not really made any comments about this. I mean, has he said anything about it that I don't know about? I mean, I do follow him.
I haven't seen any headlines anyway where he's being quoted as of yet on this agreement. And it may very well be, I missed it, but it may also very well be that that's by design, because I think we all would agree that he eyes the Oval Office, and he doesn't want to be associated with anything that's going to diminish his ability to get elected. And maybe he doesn't see this as a very good deal, and he doesn't want to really attach his name to it, and maybe that's why he's been silent.
Well, I mean, he's part of the administration, and he's the foreign secretary. So if the foreign secretary of Iran is going to put his signature on it, it only, begs the question why the foreign secretary of U.S. is not going to.
That's why they're sending Vance to provide cover for Marco Rubio, and to give Vance, some of the spotlight that Marco Rubio has been stealing from him.
Well, I think a lot of people think of J.D. Vance as Trump's butler, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm completely mistaken on that. I'm not reading it correctly. But anyway, put that aside, which was, I think, is an important point. The other main point, which I think a lot of people have missed, and nothing is mentioned about this, is the internal power struggle in Iran. And that is between the hardliners, who don't want to have any kind of deal with the US. In fact, they want to kick the US out, including all the military bases right across the Middle East. And those in Iran who are, who basically they want to negotiate for their survival. And they want to be able to sell oil and get their billions of dollars blocked back. And it's just a survival thing for them. And part of those people are so-called moderates. They're not really moderates, but they're less radical than the other group, which definitely don't want to have anything to do with the US. And they insist on resetting the clock on the destruction of Israel. So that internal struggle is actually quite important. Now, I think this process has a long way to go yet. I still don't believe there is going to be a long-term agreement. It's an MOU. It's towards a future agreement, and as we all know, an MOU to a future agreement is no agreement at all. Now, especially when there's already disagreement on what's actually in the MOU towards an agreement. I mean, it's just horrendous. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And one other thing, as part of this agreement, there is talks about diluting uranium from 60% to what is a non-enriched uranium, but at its core, as a yellow cake, is 0.07% enriched. Now that is a huge task. That's not just going to be something that could be done over a short period of time. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. But I would have thought that if it's taken a decade or so to get 60% enriched, then it's going to take quite some time to dilute it. Now, how do I summarize all this? I actually think, I am still thinking that the administration bet is on the internal conflicts within Iran. I think that's the key point here, which is often overlooked. I mean, we can look at it this way. The blockade was actually favoring Iran. Why? Because it kind of unified the hardliners with the IRGC and the moderate elements in the government. It unified them because there was a kind of an enemy blocking their oil and controlling their bit of land. Now, if that is removed, that unity is likely to be shattered. And because that conflict is now going to start, that is going to be played out over the next 60 days or so. And my bet is that because money is involved, they are going to be at each other's throat. Because that's how it has been all along. The circle of power has been reducing since 1979. And every time, a lot of people which were originally considered as one of us are now the enemy, and they are now pushed out of the circle. And that circle has been reduced over time, times and times again. And this is going to happen again. And until it becomes to a point that it's just about to collapse. I think that is probably what is in the back of some people's mind. Perhaps not Trump, but part of the administration, perhaps Netanyahu and others. And I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Amir. We'll go to William, followed by Philip.
Hey, Gary. Hey, everybody. If you have people, even at this level of memorandum of understanding, which is not an agreement, it's just almost like a preamble to an agreement. And even before there is the ceremonial execution of a memorandum of understanding, everybody, all the parties to the agreement, being Iran and the United States, the parties are saying, we don't have an understanding. If there's no meeting of the minds, there's no agreement. I mean, that's just basic contract law. There's not much more to it. And I think, to understand what's going on here, I think we're missing something if we don't look at the larger context of other things going on in the world. And part of that is the broken alliances that we have had with our European allies, our allies, Japan, South Korea, Australia, the Philippines, the first island chain, the activities that are going on in Europe, and then more close to Iran in the Indian Ocean. So, what is the consistent theme of that has gone on? Because we can't see the agreement. There's no transparency. We can't flip a coin. Do you want to believe Trump? Do you want to believe the Iranians? I don't really believe either of them. But then we're left to look for what does this really mean? What's missing here? Well, the consistent theme that's missing here is who benefits is a basic Machiavellian analysis. Who benefits? And who's Trump really representing? I mean, I think the Iranians have their fractured politics, and I'm not qualified to comment on that other than taking note that there are multiple sides within the Islamic Republic of Iran regime, but who benefits on our side? And it's not even clear from what we've seen who benefits from this deal. Do the people of the United States benefit from this deal? I think clearly not. So then the next level is, does Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner benefit from this? Unclear. Do the people of Mar-a-Lago benefit from this? We don't know. So I think there's a lot of missing pieces, and the fact that there's no actual there's no agreement, and the two sides, even before signing, are just in disagreement of what the memorandum of understanding contains. I think whatever happens next week, if anything, is just purely ceremonial and for show. And I don't think we really have evidence to say one way or the other what's included or not included, until we can see the breadcrumbs. We'll know if there's an agreement when the check cashes. And the fact that we are going to be funding our enemies sounds like it's a pretty big fail. So, and when I say our enemies, I don't mean the people of Iran. I mean the mullahs and the IRGC.
So do you feel the same way about the JCPOA that included giving money back to the Iranian?
I thought that was a flawed agreement, and it wasn't, as another speaker said earlier, I didn't think it was the last word. I think that rather than ripping up the JCPOA, Trump could have renegotiated. If he was acting presidential, he could have renegotiated a better agreement rather than just ripping it up. So no, I don't think the JCPOA was perfect, and I don't think it was the last word, and I don't think it was a final resolution of anything. But Trump's been president before. Don't forget that. That he was president, and then he was not president, and now he's president again. So, Trump didn't think it was a good agreement when he ripped the deal up, but he didn't renegotiate it either. So he didn't leave us in a stronger position. So, I don't think you can just point fingers at one side or the other. I think it's been a big failure all around.
Thank you for that, William. We'll go to Philip, followed by Ann.
Thank you, Gary. I just have a comment on the Strait of Hormuz. I think, it's such a great strategic advantage for Iran that it's really, really difficult to stop them from exerting their control over it. They've still got more than 50% of their missiles and stuff intact. And I don't think they never sunk an oil tanker. They just have threatened, the passage through there, and that basically stopped everything because it's so easy for them to take out a tanker or a American cruiser. Those big ships, they just sit in the docks and straight and being on the ocean. There's no real advantage to them. And then I just don't. I think we're better for it.
I have the Drewski clip as well. I have the one that's on Breakfast Club. I can play that if people want. I don't know. It's getting weird in here.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that one.
They will not withdraw. As far as they're concerned, it seems like they're saying that the agreements between the U.S. and Iran has nothing to do with what they're doing, and they'll continue doing what they do. essentially.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You know, and I'm trying to find the article right now to see how much, in terms of money reparations, will be done from the United States and given to Iran for this illegal war, the damage they caused. So I'm trying to find that article right now. Obviously, Trump did what he had to do because he was losing the battle. He was losing the war. And he made a huge mistake even setting this war off to begin with. And this is his way of backpedaling and getting out of there. So it's really a disgrace to this country what he did, and he is a disgrace to humanity. And unfortunately, the people of the Middle East still suffer, and the people of Iran still suffer because Israel is not going to stop any of the atrocities. They will not stop their genocide. They will not stop their land grab and grab of natural resources. And this is a huge problem. So even if there is a treaty signed between the U.S. and Iran, Iran still has the right to defend itself from Israel, and I hope they do.
But Sam, Iran made it clear that Lebanon is their red line.
Kifak Ghost, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. So in this case, if Israel is to attack, God forbid, Al-Dahya, will Iran retaliate? And if Iran retaliates, because they did say that they will, is the U.S. going to get involved and this whole thing just kind of
That's a good point. I want to look into that too. So what you're saying is Lebanon's a red line, and I agree. My understanding of everything that took place is that Israel obviously is not going to stop any of these military atrocities. So what does that mean for the Middle East? Obviously, Lebanon's not going to fight back because they have no resources. Syria could only bolster and protect their border. But in terms of actively fighting Israel, it'll be a short fight. Unfortunately, they're not strong enough. And so what happens? So here's a scenario. So let's say they sign this treaty, and it's all executed and all that. But what if Israel continues its aggressions and Iran retaliates? Does that mean that the U.S. will be dragged back into this?
Anything is possible. Israel will do everything in its power to derail the agreement, to resume the war, to continue the chaos. It will do everything in its power. They have been indicating it openly now. I mean, they're not even cagey about it. They are openly talking about it.
They are sensitive on Beirut. They are not sensitive on the southern region. Iran just threatens every time all about Beirut.
Well, the southern suburbs of Beirut, from what I've been understanding, they've come under fire, and I don't know the exact line in terms of where in Beirut or what.
Beirut as a whole, brother. Beirut as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to stop. It's my opinion that Israel's not going to stop until they conquer Lebanon. They're just doing genocide 2.0, and they're still not done with the genocide in Gaza. And the whole world sits back and does nothing about it.
And how about Trump's expressions that said Netanyahu is a man who doesn't appreciate our efforts? What do you think about these kinds of goddamn sentences?
Unfortunately, I have to use this example because I don't know what else to use. But anyway, you're familiar with that stupid World Wrestling Federation. You know how it's all fake. And those guys, like the good guy and then the bad guy, they talk all this smack. And then they go in the ring and they have a stupid match. And then it's all an act. So they know they're scripting each other out. They're playing a game. So bottom line is Netanyahu and Trump have an agreement that the U.S. will continue to supply Israel with money, that AIPAC controls the Senate and the Congress, AIPAC controls D.C. This is the Epstein administration. And they're putting on a fake fight for the press. And this is a swerve, and this is a distraction. They're actually in bed together, and they're doing everything. And they're trying to appease the mass audience. Because here in the United States, Trump's popularity is near zero. and he's destroyed the Republican Party, and he's destroyed our economy. So when he steps up and says, "Oh, it's not my fault, it's his fault," then people say, "Okay, he's finally coming around." But he's just playing a game. He's a liar.
But
Anything that comes out of that
question,
man's voice is a lie.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. My question is Israel the red line or Netanyahu? Because if Netanyahu is not the red line, maybe they leave him alone. Because some guys in Israel are really against him. So don't you believe in that?
So who are you saying is against Netanyahu? Because in D.C. and in our government, it's hard for me to tell you who's against Netanyahu because they're all funded by AIPAC, the majority of the Senate and Congress. And of course, Trump is in the back pocket of AIPAC. So, the people here in the country, the civilians, the non-politicians, of course, there's a huge rally against them. No, that we don't want any part of Israel, but we don't make the decisions here. So, unfortunately, we are, once again, the administration, this government's in the back pocket of Israel. They will do whatever they're told.
Yeah, I know. And said they just clap for that guy. I've ever seen that. But sometimes I ask myself, is it going to continue forever that support Netanyahu? Because if they feel they are being damaged by the situation made by Netanyahu, that no control over him, maybe leave him alone. But as you say, because you are more familiar with the politics in U.S.
It's rather transparent, and the internet's open for everyone. And the bottom line is, when you start looking, if you start following the money, follow the money in Congress, follow the money in the Senate, follow the money that bailed out Trump for so many years, follow the money that ensured Trump's win for the election after he was convicted of felonies. Follow all that money. It all goes back to the Zionist AIPAC. It all goes back to the Zionists, the money holders and the shakers and the movers of the Zionists.
The Jewish lobby, the Israeli lobby, basically. Yeah, makes sense.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
that
yes,
makes sense.
we are the United States of Israel. We are not the United States of America.
It is ironic that you said that because I'm thinking, are we occupied or are you guys occupied? I don't know.
Good point. Very good point. But Sam, this is my opinion. Trump will be the last president from whom Israel can get many things done. And the president who comes after Trump may not be as amenable, and also because the American public is turning against Israel in many ways. So Israel is trying to get as much done as possible before Trump leaves office. And that's why I think they continue to wage the wars, they continue to steal lands. I mean, everything. There are two reasons. One is, of course, Netanyahu's own survival, and the other one is what I just said, that Trump is their best bet to get things done, which may not be possible when the next president comes.
Trump is,
Sorry, Brother Sam. I just have a question, brother. Based on what you just said, would you think that America's actions are her own or not, really?
Absolutely not. We don't work independent. We are controlled financially. The media, and this is not conspiracy talk, anybody can research this. The media in the United States is owned by Zionists. The entertainment industry in the United States is owned by Zionists. The banking industry in the United States is owned by Zionists. The supply chain owned by Zionists. I could go on and on.
Economy, basically, yeah. Economy, basically, is owned by Zionists. So
America
Go ahead. So you would say, my brother, because we were arguing the other day, me and Edward, we were arguing actually, we were debating. So would you call that influence or is it total control?
That's a good question. It is complete and total control. All the puppet masters are Zionists. The ones that pull the strings are Zionists. Okay, the United States is not a democracy, it's a hypocrisy. We're not here to have life, freedom, and happiness and all the other crap that's spewed out. We're here to pay taxes, and so our money goes to Israel.
But how about those old days, man? That's someone like John F. Kennedy said something against Israel about their atomic plan. Is it just old days? But what is it?
JFK was very upset and very leery about that Israel was accumulating nuclear weapons, and he rubbed the lobbyists in D.C. wrong. So JFK was not murdered by some patsy who fired perfect shots from a building and nailed them every single time. It would not surprise me if that was a Zionist, it was a CIA Zionist and Mossad hit. It would not surprise me because he was vocally against Israel.
So yeah, so basically what you're saying is, it is complete and utter control, or pardon my French, they've got you by the ball.
Shit,
That's what you're saying.
retarded. But I'll give you a world example that anybody can look up themselves. And you do realize that Epstein,
Are you retarded?
the most prolific child murderer, rapist, and pedophile, was a Mossad agent.
Definitely right. Definitely right.
And what did he do? He set up a honeypot scam. What's a honeypot scam? He would bring in the most powerful people, and he put them in rooms with video, audio. He'd get them drunk, he'd get them drugged up, or they could be sober too because they're pedophiles. And he would bring in these girls, and these girls would be raped and murdered. And it's a great time, it's a party, this and that. The next day he sits them down, he says, okay, you're working for us now. And
We've got on a bit.
Are we going to witness that in the future the court will put this off, this file, I mean?
The problem that we have is the APEC is keeping pushing down the Epstein files as much as possible, where there's the minority in D.C. who are pushing the Epstein files to the limit. One is the congressman or senator from California. His name is Khan, I believe. And there's another one, he's an Asian guy, I forgot his name. They're not controlled, they don't get money from APEC. They're pushing it hard. All these other countries where the Epstein files, where the names were released, respectively in those countries, those people were removed from
prosecuted, yeah.
Yeah, they were removed from their office and they're facing charges. All right. Here in the United States, like that piece of shit Lex Wesner, Zionist bitch, he traveled to Epstein's island numerous times. And there's emails that you could read online, go to the DOJ, look at the Epstein files, where he's saying, oh, hey, what's up, Jeff? I'll be down at the island, and I'm bringing my kids are 10 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 11. This is disgusting.
Gross.
Disgusting.
Wow, wow.
And it's all in the DOJ files to read. It's not conspiracy.
Wait, he's bringing his own kids? His own kids?
Edward, I'm not trying to instigate anything or
Yes, you are.
Be part of any problems.
That's all you do, Marcus.
But Palestine mentioned that you and him were fighting yesterday. I don't know what happened.
No, we weren't.
We were arguing. Yes, we were. We were not fighting, though. That's
No.
an overstatement.
What do you mean? What were we
debating the whole control and influence.
Oh, the control and influence. Yeah, that was not a fight. Not for Palestinians, that wasn't a fight.
Marcus wanted to be a fight. Can you
Yeah.
for him?
But listen, that wasn't even a fight when it comes to white people fighting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Edward. I'm not privy to it, so you guys can talk it out, bro.
No, we don't need to talk. He thinks it's control. I think it's influence. I say.
Well, guess what, Edward? I got someone on my side now that says it's total control, and he's a total American. Like, it's Sam that thinks that it's control.
Yeah, Sam would think it's control. It's completely
But he's not just saying it's control. He actually brings up very good points. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But brothers, let me
Repeat
go off
them,
topic.
Sam. Repeat them.
Hold on, Marcus, bro. Hold on. Just
Mr. A still here?
Yeah, we're trying to keep her quiet. Why? Oh, no.
I was chatting quite a bit. I'm giving people time, you know?
Yeah,
Don't get me started.
Please, sister, check your telegram, please.
Okay, well, sure, no worries.
Wait, how come he has your telegram? I've not gotten one single message from you.
You know, first of all, Edward, I didn't even remember what my telegram was, okay? I had to reset it. Trust me. I just got it right back. So,
Not a
Edward,
single message.
I don't even have a telegram.
Well, I'll give you my telegram.
Are you on the World Affairs forum? I'll find it from you.
Yes. Yeah, I am. My telegram fits me pretty well, I think. My telegram.
I'm pretty sure I'll figure it out.
Guys, you get a discussion group on Telegram?
I guess.
It's not really a discussion group. It's more like we post news, memes sometimes.
Is it possible for you to put it here? Because I really want to follow that.
Yeah, I think.
I think it's in the link tree above, like in the.
Yeah. On the top.
It's in there, yeah. Yeah, at the top. Yeah, it's in the pinned link.
Sorry, I can't find it.
No, there's a pinned link, brother. Above, on top of the room, the first thing in the room is a pinned link. Go there.
It's on the top.
Yeah. Hey, brother.
Now I found it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Kifek, Edward. Say again? Kifek yazar mı? Kifek, alhamdulillah, kifek alhamdulillah. Keşke tamam.
So, Sam, I'm gonna push back a little bit. I'm gonna push back a little bit what you said earlier, Sam. So, just step by step, when you started at the deal that was reached between the U.S. and Iran, and how Netanyahu has expressed dissatisfaction, and he said he has nothing to do with it. That does not mean, that he's not go out there and act on his own and start his own war against Iran. However, he knows better, because he's going to get his ass kicked if he was to go it alone. Now,
I agree.
when are we going to know whether it's a total control or an influence is when the U.S. decides we're just going to still, fuel this guy. When he runs out of fuel, we're going to fuel him. In other words, we're just going to fund him, and he comes back for a refill, and he comes back for a refill, to infinity, basically. If the U.S. says, no, you're on your own, man. We're not gonna help you. We've reached a deal with these people, and we're not fighting this war. This is not our war. It's your war. Fight it on your own. Then we know it is control. It's just influence, and influence happens at the difference, not at the top level.
Also, Muhammad, you also know if Netanyahu, number one, Beirut, or if he doesn't bomb Beirut. That's one sign. But real quick, the second sign, if he does bomb, and Iran responds, and the U.S. does not get involved, that's also a second sign, I think, that is influence, not control.
What that is the point I was going to make. I know for a fact that what do you call it? That Israel is not going to dare to attack Iran. How do I know that? Simply because Iran has the supersonic missile that can reach Tel Aviv from Tehran to Tel Aviv in 6 minutes.
Hypersonic.
Okay, that hypersonic. It's 6 minutes. That thing has not been touched or disabled. Okay, in fact, if anything, it's gotten strong. So I don't think Israel is foolish enough to mess with Iran. Now, what remains to be found out is whether Iran will adopt its own version of the Monroe Doctrine and say, anybody that fucks with Syria or Lebanon fucks with me too. In other words, you touch these two places, that's a war declaration. Okay, and I'm going to attack. Is that going to be worded into the final agreement? I hope it does. I really hope it does, because it's going to send a signal to the world that there is a military coalition happening, even though it's only one side that's really strong that can stand on his own and fight the fight.
Oh no, I think you'll find Egypt joining Syria. Well, Syria is with Turkey, but I think you'll find Turkey and Iran. Egypt joining Iran. No, I think you'll find Egypt not fighting, but joining some sort of coalition.
What you're not gonna put in the and the manpower.
Well, no. I mean, if it comes down to it, if Egypt is attacked, then then Iran would also join in that attack. Remember, listen, but Muhammad, you're forgetting one thing. Remember what Israel said. Turkey is next. So I'm sure Turkey, Iran, Egypt, Syria. I mean, Turkey's building up Syria now. Maybe even Hezbollah, or
But they're thinking twice about it now after what happened with Iran.
I don't think they're thinking twice about it.
Okay. I'll tell you what I picked up from having.
Zionists? I don't know.
Hang on one second. I overdosed on NPR today, and all analysts agree on one thing: the entire world has acknowledged and recognized that Iran can take the world's economy hostage if it so wishes. So the whole country will have to think twice now before fucking with Iran. It was heartwarming to actually listen to that by top analysts.
And look how patient Iran was to get to this point. They knew about this for decades.
It can change. And I'll tell you, and they all agree that the only reason why, Trump, being the maniac that he is, the egomaniac that he is, he only backpedaled and wanted to reach an agreement with Iran because the economy is in the fucking toilet. And gas prices are going up, and he's destroyed the Republican Party, and he's going to be a lame duck president when it comes November. There's a lot of consideration that he just thought, no, this ain't working out for me. This is like a relation. I'm into a relationship with a toxic man, which is Netanyahu, and it's gonna end up with my own demise.
Wait, you have a toxic relationship with a man?
Yeah, and who pays for dinner?
Yeah.
It's a toxic relationship that obviously he's paying for dinner. He's being used. Just the toxic part? And in this case, it fits. This scenario fits perfectly.
But we all chipping in on that dinner, Edward. I chipped in a little. You do too.
How did I get involved?
You try to mitigate your taxes by giving to charity. We try our best.
Buy one of Trump's $500,000 or $100,000 watches that do not exist and have not been manufactured.
Holy shit! But yeah, it's crazy, man. Listen, as much as I hate the IRGC, I think Iran has done really well for itself this round. I just hope and pray that these sanctions get lifted even gradually. That way, if the situation for the Iranian citizens doesn't improve, I have more of the reason to hate the IRGC. I land.
I agree. I mean, we shouldn't forget the IRGC is a terrible.
In life, unless you are willing to make the sacrifices and do the hard things.
I agree with that.
Yeah. It just seems like, the concept, when we're talking about content, and I agree with you. But at what point do you say, you know what, the game is rigged against me? It's no matter what I do, I'm still gonna fucking lose. But the other party, they have a 80-90% chance of winning. So I get what you're saying. I agree. And it's at the point where it's like, yeah, a lot of men are discouraged, a lot of men have been brainwashed, and they, capitulating to women's emotions. That's the way to go. We just kind of go the path of least resistance, which is, I don't want a bunch of people looking at me like I'm an asshole, or an abuser, or a deadbeat, or a piece of shit, or a monster, or...
I understand. أخوي محمد هنا في الغرفة في قانون بيحكوا إنه ما حد يسأل التبرعات ولا شيء. مش فاهم. على صوت أخوي.
ما حكينا في تبرعات العشر.
لا هم بس بيحكوا هيك مش انه لانك سالت ولا شيء هم هيك
اول مره جيت اعطينا اعلان فقط من اول مره جينا.
Yeah, and English, you know.
خلاص بنترجم له او
And tell them there are Arabic-speaking rooms on here.
Brother, it's okay. We get it. You understand. Like it's a Palestinian, but don't sound very unwelcoming. We get
No, it's still an English-speaking room, though. I'm just saying, like, he should know that there are Arabic.
I understand, but there are Arabic speakers in this room that could translate. It's okay.
Edward, stop being white, man. Come on.
Stop being so white.
I'm saying the rule. Okay, what I'm saying is, tell him that in case he doesn't know that there are Arabic-speaking rooms.
Yes,
he does.
Yeah, I spoke to him before. I told him, in this room, I don't promote anybody's donation links or whatever, because there's an incident that happened a long time ago. And, you're welcome to open up your own space and, promote the link. Respectfully, I don't do it out of my room. Because there's been a lot of, no, I'm not saying you, but there's been a lot of scams out there. And it's just for you, the rules set for everybody.
What am I doing? He can't speak English to me. He's trying to tell you in Arabic. He doesn't speak English.
Then you could translate it, Edward.
Huh?
You could translate the message, Edward.
How are you, Amir?
I'm doing good. What's up with you, Sam? How you doing? You okay?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a busy day. It's good to be in this room. It's nice to see that we don't have anyone up here waving a flag for the genociders.
I mean, Zikr was here earlier. We went back and forth, and it was just
I missed him. I must have missed him because it wasn't like when I was here. I've been here for quite a while now.
Hey, Sam, I'm gonna ping your friend Sapien.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, you know what? I haven't beat up anybody in a couple of days in real life. So yeah.
Guys, no Israelis get a chance to come up because Amir will absolutely kick him out.
I wanted to bring up a point, not to change the topic about Trump, and I wanted to just a brief history timeline. In essence, I wanted to talk about the impact of the Epstein files and the things that Trump has done to keep with as many distractions as possible. And as you all know, in this country, prior to the war in Iran, Trump sent ICE agents out to Minneapolis, to Minnesota, which is it's a very liberal state. It's a Democratic state. And as you know, the ICE agents were out there, and they did beat up a lot of people, and they killed. We know of 2 people. They probably killed more. The atrocities. Trump did this, in my opinion, to spark a civil war, or enough civil unrest to declare martial law. However, his plan backfired, and he had to call back all the and then he took the stage with obviously with Bibi and the Zionist puppet masters, and they began this war in Iran as not only a distraction, but he wanted to destroy world economies and also make us in this country, we're more concerned about paying for groceries, gas, medicine. We don't have time for the Epstein files. So, with this being said, let's say the Iranian deal goes through. Let's say there's no more warfare between the U.S. and Iran.
You're tired of the Epstein files?
Go ahead.
Did you say that we don't have time for the Epstein files? I didn't hear that part. I skipped out.
So what happened was, as you noticed, when the Iran war started.
Yes.
You'll see that the major news networks.
Yeah,
were talking about
yes, I got you.
And now the Epstein went to the back burner. And now everything's the Iran war. Everything's the U.S. war. And also, the number of casualties has been falsely reported. That soon will come out in terms of how many thousands of Americans were killed. And also, all the military machines that were destroyed. And, as you are aware, Israel said many times they're not going to put any of their boots on the ground. They want U.S. troops putting boots on the ground only. And the U.S. never did that because they knew they'd get Israel sits back and can't do anything because they don't have their big bubba to protect them, and on and on. I promise you, Trump will find another major distraction to keep the Epstein files off the radar.
Thank you very much.
Fuck you, man.
Oh? Who's this guy? Sam! I'm really curious about your reaction about something.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is your reaction to those Iranian people saying thank you every day to Trump? If you ever seen that clip saying, let's thank our Uncle BB, Uncle...
People that want a puppet regime put in Iran, thinking that that's going to give them a lot of freedom and bring back whatever democracy they think is missing. I'm not in Iran, so I can't speak for what's happening there. I can't speak about their government. I've never been there. However, I feel those people are sellouts, complete sellouts. And a lot of them may also be what I call paid advertising.
Maybe, but it's not they're not pretending. They're actually Iranians, but for a lot of reasons migrated to a country like US. But I don't know why. They know this bastard is making a genocide and is protecting someone like Netanyahu knows better than they know better than us that they are doing a goddamn thing, but because they want a regime change, they say it's worth it. It's worth it, and they, no excuse is accepted by them because they say whatever the mean is should be good because we can make a regime change. But now they just don't know what to do after 40 days of war that Islamic Republic didn't go.
Well, yeah, this is unfortunate. You're going to see sellouts. I mean, here's another example. Have you seen the Lebanese president? He sat there and he gave these long-ass interviews from his pretty little house after he stuffed his face 40 pounds of falafel, and he's wiping the crumbs off his face, and he's sitting there and he's condemning Hezbollah, and he's condemning Hamas. The whole time, did he show any remorse for the people that were murdered? No. Did he blame Israel for anything? No. Did he call his so-called army together to form some kind of barrier, some line, protect his people? No. So if you want to sell out, you don't have to look too far. Go to Lebanon, look at that president, and then you can put him in the same group as those ideas. It's very sad.
What do you mean by sellout?
I'm sorry?
You
A
said so.
A traitor.
Oh, yeah, a sellout? A sellout, yeah?
He's a sellout, he's a traitor, he's a Zionist bootlicker.
Oh,
He's
I
an
never
Iranian
heard
bootlicker.
something new. Thank you.
I mean, the whole army of Lebanon went north when all this started. And it's like, do you have any type of respect for your own people, for your own land? You run like cowards. That was completely uncalled for.
Yeah, because of the economic situation, people say everything they want. But they don't think about the risks. And the risk now is, for example, one of my friends that was severely in the protests. I mean, so-called massacres. People call massacre on I don't know which month in your country it is. It was day in Iran. Yeah, he was before.
The same month in Iran, Milad would be the same month in Israel.
Oh, I don't know the month. I don't remember months. I just know it was day, not day. The word day in your English language, it is a month, day. I don't remember. some people were just calling for war as support for them, and we were just reminding them of um, the last kingdom before Islamic Republic, what happened for them, and how much dependent they went and where they were, but they didn't listen to us and said that could be really worse than that. It could be a regime change and something like Venezuela comes about, but nothing like that happened, and my friend someday during the war called me and said my aunt's house, half of it was ruined, was just ruined in the morning. Some of them got to know the war was not the case, and some of them are just insisting and calling Islamic Republic to surrender. That is, I don't know from where these goddamn thoughts come. Uh, but I think the only thing that can justify these nonsense sentences um, is just economic issue. The economic issue here, for example, dollar was 186. One to one was 160 dollars, and now it's just came down to 165, and because of that expense,
Wait,
am I right? Expense.
what?
Where are you from, Milad? Where are you from?
No, I think it's the opposite.
No. Which one is opposite? I said.
You said 1 2 man is $186.
Um, Sorry, no. I was, I said wrong. Yeah, exactly the opposite. I was wrong. $1 is 164 dollars now. I was wrong. Yeah. Yeah, because of the economic situation, people say these goddamn words and they don't think about the risks. Something like Bashar Assad case in Syria. His father came with coup. People were really not satisfied with the situation. They made everything they could, and a lot of terrorist groups came to that country and did everything they want, and the country went out of control. And something like that is planned for Iran, and people don't know that. They just think if they protest and they go for a regime change, Reza Pahlavi comes and the son of Shah gets the control. But courts here, absolutely the courts and the and the western, am I right? As western, northwestern region of Iran, they don't let this guy coming into control. Some Arab people at the south of Iran, or some how to say, some terrorist groups like Mujahideen Khalq, they don't let this guy. So I think people uh, won't see the regime change and the next regime. We just have to think and move it more over. People are not that aware. They are following some news that are really biased. Something like the channel International, Iran International, made by Saudi Arabia and funded by Israel, is just exaggerating Israel bombardment
Wait,
and saying,
International is made by Saudi Arabia and funded by Israel.
yeah, and Saudi Arabia is funding it. Iran International is really worse than that BBC against the countries. It is not just colonialism. It doesn't want to control Iran. It wants it separated. And if you follow, some of the guys in that agency are leaving there. They are being fired because in the war they couldn't go according to the policies set by Saudi Arabia or Israel. And this goddamn channel is really related and controlled to Israel. Why? Because when Khamenei the leadership of Iran was terrored, this was the first channel announced this guy was terrored. That is absolutely right, because some years ago, if it was claimed, I maybe doubted it, but now I think it's really, really right, because they are the first channel announcing every single terror. I think whenever, as long as people are following these news agencies, news channels, they don't get true information. They are getting false information, something like, for example, they say, okay, it was only the government of Iran that did that massacre, and they say, okay, every single guy killed on the streets was killed by the government, but I myself witnessed, and I was in the streets, that some guys carried guns against the police officers, and they killed, for example, 300, at least 300 police officers and the security people, and they don't say these kind of goddamn things. They just say, okay, something like a massacre happened. Okay, go against the government and make this country separated. They don't say that why this massacre happened, because they are sanctioning Iran. They are pushing this country forward to, I don't know, a valley that we've never supposed. And I think people, if don't change their media, this country will be ruined. Yeah, that's the case, I think. And I'm really upset about the case, because when I opened my eyes in this country, when I was born, the only thing I saw was controversial issues between people. They are discussing over goddamn things, even in parties. You know, you can't believe it. For example, you go to the nature, you want to enjoy the parks, and they are discussing political things. And you see, okay.
I have no clue where you're going with this conversation. What's going on?
No clue of what?
Where are you from exactly?
I was, I think, 3 times here. You don't know me, you don't remember me. I said I'm from Iran.
Iran, I'm sorry, I missed that part. This is the first time I started talking to you. I know you were talking about Iran and everything, I just wanted to verify it. But I had a question for you regarding those riots that took place before the war started. How much involvement was from the Mossad and the CIA with those riots?
Let me in advance tell you something. That's most of my friends are police officers, and it goes back to the days I was a military. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. When I passed my military service, I was in the police agency, police department. So most of them are police officers. I got 2 of my friends killed in the riots, and they were not carrying guns at the first day. On the first day, what they witnessed, they said, for example, on one street there was a blockade, and a lot of rocks were put over each other. They were shooting at safe. I don't know how to say that. What are those security people called that go for the riots? Are they crackdown officers?
Riot police?
Yeah, riot police. Yeah, they said most of the riot police officers were not allowed to carry guns to kill people. They were just guns to, for example, I don't know how to say that, some materials that you use to use for crackdown and suppress.
Non-lethal. So they're using rubber bullets and probably tear gas.
Yeah, non-lethal. And just suppose that the second day they went to their commanders, said, if you are going to continue this, not allowing not allowing us to carry guns to protect our lives. And like the day before that 300 police officers were killed, we are not going to help the government. And to suppose that IRGC set a plan to give them lethal guns to go and shoot at people whom they think are terrorists or are, you know, somehow really confronting them. When someone is confronting the police officer with rocks, I don't know anything supposed, and is playing the role of shield of terrorists in the streets, would be absolutely killed. Just suppose the police officer sees that guy as the shield of that terrorist. What is going to be done? Can you answer this question? People say that was a massacre, so they got killed, and I'm not gonna deny that most of them were innocent guys. I know some of them from my neighborhood. They were innocent people get killed, but maybe by by those police officers, but not intentionally. And we have a speech from the leadership of Iran that says we divide people get killed to three parts. Some of them were really innocent. Some of them were cheated and used by, I don't know, rioters. And some of them are really the enemy. And they were Mossad. Mossad claimed, Mossad said and celebrated and said Happy New Year to his agents. And something like Pejak, the terrorist group on the north eastern part of Iran, said we had some of our officers in Iran got killed, and Mujahideen Khalid said at least 100 of our guys got killed in so-called protests. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm living in this goddamn country, but whenever there will be a protest, make sure that Mossad and all of these terrorist groups are going to utilize the situation. For what? Because they lost their powers, I don't know, 47 years ago. And now they are not cared. The government, doesn't acknowledge them as formal groups because they are against the policies. I'm not gonna say IRGC is really right, but if there was no IRGC, no resistance, no Palestine, and no Lebanon and Hezbollah and Hamas would come about, because this was the organization taught those guys how to make missiles, rockets, and resist. And the case that we are now in is caused by some reformists in Iran. I don't believe in these people. Some of these people think if we give out uranium, America will make a deal. We've seen that in the past presidency. I think it was, 8 years ago. People celebrated the day that the deal came about. But nothing happened because Wendy Sherman came and said, the war suspended. The war suspended. When you have the line says sanctions are suspended, the war suspend, speaking by language, doesn't mean end. It means also, sorry, I said something wrong. The word lift sanctions, lift sanctions, sorry, my bad. There was a line that was saying sanctions will be lifted, but lift, as Wendy Sherman said,
can mean suspend, doesn't mean necessarily to end. And some of the guys in Iran said to Muhammad Jawad Zarif, why didn't you choose better words? And it was just about atomic sanctions, and nothing came about. And just, I think it was not Trump. It was the policy of United States that wanted to make this trap for Iran. And these days, have you ever noticed that he's complimenting Araghchi as the tweets? Did you see? That's he is okay saying this guy is going to be a better guy than those ones, and is going to make a deal. Yes, because they are making a trap and complimenting a coward group, a cow group, I mean, and they just want to make deals more and more just to put more pressure on Iran. And I think if Iran surrenders to these guys, we absolutely lose the game. I think we lost our leader. We lost our leader. We have our children killed. 168 innocent children in Mina got killed, and a lot of people, and a lot of our infrastructure. And these people are just going to make deal. If this deal is not going to be under our leadership conditions, I mean, if we lose the Strait of the Hormuz, if we give our uranium, they absolutely attack again. Something like Libya. Because what happened in Libya? Gaddafi, or I don't know how to call it, he gave up all weapons and transferred them to United States. What happened then? 10 years after that, they attacked and got that land. Uh, these countries just based on occupation. This is their policy, and it's not gonna be ended. Sorry, guys, I made headaches for you.
No, I understood clearly. Obviously, the Mossad and the CIA played a role with a lot of disruptions in Iran.
Could I answer you?
Yes, you did. You did indicate what was pretty obvious to many, that the Mossad and CIA were involved. I mean,
Sam, and I can send you some photos. It is somewhere that these martyrs are buried, and I can send you the photos of these guys, really beautiful guys. I mean the security guys, or just normal people that got killed during the war, and some of them say Pahlavi was really the most powerful influencer in that case, because he made that call for people. And let me tell you something. Pahlavi said, we want people to come and protest and get their rights, okay? But during the war, I think it was the last Wednesday, the last year, the last Wednesday of the year, he said there's a call, but not for normal people, something like a special guard forces of Pahlavi are on the streets. They are going to make damages to some forces, some Islamic Republic forces in the squares. And you can't believe that in the squares, people are shaking flags. Some bad things happen. For example, by just out of the blue, someone came and shot at people, and for example killed two guys, or I don't know, they hurled some bombs, I don't know, cocktails and things like that. And this is the evidence that they carried weapons with themselves to kill people, to say that was the government killed people. But yeah, you got me, I think.
Yeah, what you're talking about are agent provocateurs, and these are foreign agents that go in and they pretty much kick the beehive. They start all the problems, and that's their intention. And it's once again, it's a CIA and a Mossad operation, and it's a shame that innocent people had to die. And then when the U.S. decided to blow up that school that had all those schoolgirls in it, and they sat back and said, "Oh no!" First they said we didn't do it. Iran did it themselves, but then admitted that they did it. And then they said there was missiles there at the school. They had to do it. It's the same nonsense. It's absolutely disgusting.
And something like a rumor is really, we have a rumor here that say, okay, those guys ruined the banks, fired the streets, and made damages to traffic lights and things like that. They were from the government itself. Why do you support these guys when government says they will be executed? So if they are from the government body itself, why are you going to support them not being executed? Uh, Let me tell you, at least 6 Mossad agents got executed before war, and because of that, Trump was saying 30, I don't know, 60. Uh, 60 people got prison in Iran, and Iran called me and said, we are not going to execute them. And I said, okay, I'm not going to head the war. I don't know, but they themselves are claiming that we got a real influence in Iran. And something about courts, that Trump said, I gave them a lot of weapons, but they didn't deliver them to the people of Iran. And that is showing why, why, why that 3,000 half people is not few number. You know, that was massacre. But by who? That was not that was not decided. That was not intentional. When you see your friend as a police officer next to you is getting killed by some guy in the crowd and people are clapping for that terrorist, what are you going to do? You just shoot a gun to the sky, and your next shot will be at the I don't know, I have to say that, I don't know, specific site that you see, for example, terrorists. I can send you a lot of photos that they pushed forward the I don't know how to call it. We have a sign. We have signs in the streets. Yeah, their paws were put into the asshole of these police officers, and they were treated like that. You know, that is
That's absolutely terrible.
like that. I have the photo. I have the photo, and nothing like that happens in US, and they let those terrorists do that again. If you just threaten the police of USA, they just by one single goddamn word hit you and blast you and explode your mind. And you know what? In Iran, you have to be silent. When someone says there was a massacre, I myself get silent because economic issues, you know, somehow give you the excuse. Uh, am I right? The words. Yeah. Uh, they just say that was a good excuse to do that, and they justify their deeds. I don't know why, but I live in this country. Maybe in the future gets better, but no way instead of resistance. Because I read something in the history. Let me share with you. Before Islamic Republic, there was kingdom here. You know? Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. We got someone called Muhammad Reza Pahlavi, the father of this goddamn guy, in US, Reza Pahlavi. He was his father. When did he came? On our age system, I don't know how to say the year system. I mean, on our year system, it is 1320. You can change it to your own year system. 1320. Reza Pahlavi as went for Hitler and thought that it is better to go and support Hitler instead of Britain during the World War. They fired him and postponed him and sent him to an island called Moors. I think it's near Africa. 1320 was the year this guy, Reza Shah, the grandpa of Reza Pahlavi, was sent to that island, and instead of this guy, Muhammad Reza Shah came. 3 years after that king sent to the island was dead. He died, and in these 3 years, he couldn't take back his father. What kind of powerful kingdom is it that Pahlavi people claim that he couldn't take back his father, and it is kind of treating his father. And let me tell you this, that 1320. He was sent to that island 3 years after that 1323. He died, and 1329, after these many years, his body was taken back to the country. Got it? And just suppose what kind of goddamn discussions we have with these Pahlavi groups, and they don't accept that dependence to a country and a foreign outsider is really, really terrible. They say, okay, why shouldn't we be like Saudi Arabia? It is dependent to US, and they got their lives. They have the best machines, they have the best factories, got the best stadiums. But that's not the case. If you go to the am I right, asylum? Do we call those poor neighborhoods asylum?
Poor neighborhoods, usually they're called more ghetto than asylum, I think. Asylum is where you go somewhere to be safe from any type of persecution.
No. I confused a word with something else. We have a lot of poor neighborhoods and streets. You see people are just lying on the ground and sleeping there. They are spending their time there. The people of Iran just see whatever Iran International is showing them. You know, Netanyahu said something in the past years. The thing we've got in Iran, we've not got that in Iraq. That is media. Show them Hollywood movies and change their lifestyle and culture. They themselves go and protest against the government, but they couldn't because just you're witnessing that a lot of people are shaking flags. They know they are religious. They know that Islamic Republic is better than any kind of other governments because would be separated after that regime change. Yeah, I'm just over talking. Sorry, I think I expressed my feeling and opinions. I could walk by.
No, dude, you certainly explained a lot, and you shed a lot of light about Iran and the upheaval that took place prior to the illegal.
is, I think, going to be the last one. Um, one guy here was speaking about hypersonic missile. That is a really good technology, but we've got something newer, and that is Majid system. If you search it, it comes up, and you can search it and know what it is. Majid system works with in infrared. Works with infrared, and that is a modern system. And I think that was the system could take down F-18, I think it was, or F-16. Yeah, it was F-16, I think, and could hit F-35. And the only thing they didn't present and they didn't use during the war was Raptor 22. Maybe if there is a ground war, they use it. And in ground war, resistance groups are really better than these modern militaries, because that is proved, and Hezbollah proved this, Hamas proved this, and we know better that um, there's a lot of traps here. They don't know that much, this land. And we confronted 32 countries during the war with Saddam Hussein, that basic Iraqi guy. I'm not speaking about the Iraq itself now. I'm speaking about that old Iraq. Yeah, they don't know what kind of hell they're going through. If they come here, we will absolutely show them what war is exactly, and we are really ready. If you know, believe it or not, we have youngs here, we have teenagers here, are really ready to sacrifice their soul, sacrifice their body to save the country, and also the Islamic Republic, because they think that is a holy government, not government, holy movement, the whole movement that is going to save Al-Quds, and Muslims can find their dignity again. Yeah. Uh, could I answer your question? I think I really spoke a lot.
No, you did, man. You gave a lot of details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I just try to improve my speaking skill because I'm an English teacher here, and really I'm interested in politics. Every night I can come here and participate in discussions, sometimes watch TV. And, but someone like Fayaz here or you are really good at politics. You know, in a lot of details, you can discuss them and drop your ideas so people can agree and disagree, and you can convince them. But my English is not that good. Maybe because I don't have that much idea. If you don't have the idea, and not that information about Palestine, you cannot speak that much. But about Iran, I'm really good at it. What time is it there, bro? What time is it there?
Where I'm at on the East Coast, 7:38 p.m. Eastern Standard.
7:38 p.m. And people here know that this is 3 a.m., but they are waiting for World Cup game. The how to say that? The game that we have with New Zealand. People are just awake, but some of them don't care about it. Well, I hope something good happens. What do you think, Sam? Do we have war again? Because you know much more than me. Uh, is there any other war after this ceasefire? Because I think they are not in the same boat. Uh, they're not in the same ground, I mean. And U.S. says some things, and Iran says other things, and they don't match each other. What do you think?
Well, the United States and Israel can never be trusted. And will there be peace for Iran? It's very hard for me to say that. It would not surprise me. The point that was made earlier is after all these so-called peace deals are executed and signed, that Israel would strike into Lebanon, and then would that cause Iran to strike Israel, and then would the U.S. step up and say, "Oh, you can't strike Israel"? So no, I don't have any faith in it. I don't believe in it. There will never be peace for Iran, unfortunately, or for any of the Arabs in the Middle East, as long as the United States bankrolls and supports the terrorist regime of Israel.
Yeah, and as an American, if you could do something about making policy change, what would be that? I mean, is there any, I mean, is that control really a lot that you cannot do any single change in the policy of being controlled by Israel? I mean, because Iran and Hezbollah are separated from each other. They are allied, but United States and Israel are really going matched to each other. As an American, can you do any single thing? Because I'm not sure.
The only thing that would fix this country would be to clean out the Congress and the Senate and get out all of the Israeli influence and take away all of the political influence from them. That would be the only way that we could recover this country back to its citizens. I mean, that's a huge undertaking, and it's not going to happen. I mean, this control is just too fierce. The control is too embedded. It's too strong.
My question is always what happened after, for example, after Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy. These guys were somehow not dependent to Israel. They were controlling their policies. What happened after that? That nobody could come and say something against Israel policies. They just grabbed and supported. What happened after these guys? Did Israel do a special thing about that control? I mean, do you have any clue about it?
Well, I think that there's been a the major control with Israel started at the inception and the creation of their country, and that was also a lot of lobbyists and the political action committees. The question that you posed is not easy to answer. If for decades this entire society in the United States is governed and controlled by a foreign body, and to break away from that, I don't see how that's going to happen. To me, it doesn't seem logical. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. They're too strong. There's too many of them. They're too strong.
Well, do you really think, I'm back, welcome guys, do you really think that it's control or influence? Or is it blackmail type of control?
This is a good point. I mean, this is blackmail control. This is typical, what I call the honeypot Mossad. These are the activities of the Mossad and the honeypot cells.
Then I have a follow-up question for you.
Go ahead.
So if that's the thing, Trump cursed them out, right? Trump said, you don't know shit or this and that. When Trump is doing this to him, why doesn't he expose Trump?
Because I think it's really a script between the two of them. I think they're really just they're shadow boxing. I think they're just putting on a show. I think they're doing it as a distraction. I don't believe they're really at odds with each other at all. I think Netanyahu's telling them what to say, keeping it spicy like that so that people don't focus on the real problems. And, it's kind of like, trouble in paradise. It's like a tabloid thing. Look at these two. They were best buddies. Now look at them. I think it's all bullshit. I think that's really a ploy. I don't believe that they're really at odds at all.
I'm just thinking about, you know, I actually thought about this, right? So let's say tomorrow, if Trump parts ways, right, with Israel, but then don't you think that, look, even though I dislike this McDonald eater orange man, right, this guy that's leader, you don't think that there's a chance, God forbid, chances of him getting assassinated by, this entity called Israel?
You know, that is valid. I mean, a lot of people have talked about that. As far as all the crackpots that tried to do it, those were certainly not well-trained assassins by any nature. Those were just weirdos that came out of the work. But yeah, I mean, if he finally sends.
Just like turn down the volume or the lights a bit. Right.
Try that one.
No.
Okay, well now you definitely look sus.
And why does your hairline look like it's heavily receding in this picture?
I don't know, maybe I'm going bald, who knows?
Don't do that.
I think my hair looks great in that photo.
Oh,
Doesn't look bad. Jeez.
No,
I want you to shave your head.
Lighting.
I think I look.
No,
you need
don't
to shave
make
your
him
head.
shave it again. Not again.
No, shave it.
Let it grow out a little bit. Give it a
No,
few
he
more
has
weeks.
ugly hair. It's straight and spiky.
I like it.
But it just grows out of his head like a lettuce. It has no like flow to it.
It has no what?
It's like has no direction. It's just like pure chaos. Like, because it's all straight, right? It can't be fluid and like bend and.
How about like maybe a French crop?
Okay, yeah, he needs to have like, because his face is very square.
No. It's a Caesar cut.
You have a square face, you need a little bit of softness on the hair. It needs to be a little bit rounded, the hair design. The face is angular.
Texture, or no, I don't know.
I like the texture, it looks so good. But I think perm would look cute on you.
I think it needs to be shorter on the sides.
When my hair is long and wet and I go on the car ride with the windows down for a long time, I get the Yiddish curls.
Oh my god, you're a dog.
I swear I get Yiddish curls.
Here, well, lean into that. Lean into those curls. No, not that way. With your haircut.
Yeah, like get some layers and texture and shed, some texturizing powder, maybe sea salt spray, and like cut it in such a manner that you are bringing that out, at least on top, maybe just shorter on the sides.
Shorter on the sides with like a little bit of like movement on top, right? Like a little curl or something. This would look good on you, Jacob.
Like how my cousin looks?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what your cousin looks like.
How the fuck do we know what your cousin looks like?
I don't know. All I see is that you have a very like angled jawline, which is great, but your hair can also be like all very straight as well and angled. So you gotta soften that.
Yelly Jabelli saw a picture of my cousin, I think.
I don't remember.
You were looking at my family.
I did.
Remember, text me too when we were doing those deep dives. Come on.
You were fishing or something on a.
Yeah, we're out there.
Yeah.
Oh, why am I remembering that now?
Yeah, remember?
We're at like Newport or something.
Fuck you, little spoiled brat.
Nah, it's like the only time
You had no right to go schizophrenia.
Did your mom look?
Is that a fractal on the bottom? It is.
Yes, I hope.
Well, fractal if it is, I hope the IDF bombs the shit out of Compton, where you went to school. And you can't text me because I blocked you, bitch.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's shot. Man died, but I had to speak up loud. So that kind of goes into the time that when was speaking to girls when it was about 19, 20.
Well, I kind of heard about half of what you said, but being a lesbian has nothing to do with gender.
No, because that couple has.
No, a man identifying as a lesbian is the peach.
What?
I didn't know I was a lesbian until I found out what they did.
Yeah, well, once again, either a man or a woman identifying as a lesbian has nothing whatsoever to do with gender.
I thought that gender was like what you think about, like what you think you are, you know?
Yes, but being a lesbian means you like to have sex with other women. It says nothing about yourself. Gender has to do with yourself, not with other people you want to have sex with.
Hello, guys.
Hello!
Yeah, Cindy, why you have everyday same topic, atheist?
Oh, does he talk about this all the time in all the rooms?
No, I mean, why every day you have the same topic, us and atheist?
I'll tell you why. Because it brought you.
Because I'm a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. I pray to Allah. I read Quran. So I don't think this is hurting sentiment of other religion people.
Then why are you here? Then why don't you leave quietly?
No, but a lot of people come here, listen to you. So
are you from Pakistan or India?
No, India.
Okay, so why are you here?
I can see. I have a sentiment with Allah, Quran, Muhammad.
So why are you here? I've asked 3 times now. You haven't answered the question.
Because he's ready to give up Allah.
Because every day when you
it sounds to me like you're thinking maybe you might want to become an atheist.
No, it's okay. You can join.
It's okay. You can join.
You hit that club.
No shame. It's okay.
Brother, listen.
I am listening.
I don't want to be.
Hang on. You asked me, why do I hold this room every day? The answer is because you're here.
Bro, I think you have no job. Now you are retired.
And you know what? You're right. I have no job. I'm homeless. I live on the street. I live in a tent. You're right.
No, you have good money. Now you just want to manipulate people here.
Yes, you're right. I want to manipulate people, especially you.
You're right. I'm not going to get manipulated from you.
You are right. I want to manipulate you. You are right.
Well, I don't. See. My heart is filled with love of Allah. You're never gonna get inspired.
Then why are you here in an atheism room?
Good for you. So, Kafan, this room is for anybody to come in and ask a question to an atheist. Ask any question you want. So, do you have a question? Or are you just complaining about the room?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, what's your question?
For you, like, who created you?
That would be the part to fuck it.
Well, let's stop there. When you say, who created us? You mean like the parents that engaged in sex and the mom got pregnant and gave birth, that would be my parents. But do you refer to like the you as in humanity, and it's not a who created us, it is a what and a how.
Okay,
and it's not really creation.
I believe that when two people have sex, then the children get born. This is how you are created. What?
Yeah. Okay.
How does it start? Like,
okay, so you want to ask
How do
you
make a baby?
Everything start.
It starts with like stimulation of the pineal gland, ejaculation, and then like sperm migrate up the fallopian tubes and to race for first penetration of the egg.
All right, well, you're talking over each other, but one at a time. So impact. He's at
JCC. So JCC, I want to know who created Adam.
Who created Adam?
Yeah.
The first person?
Which Adam?
He's talking about the first person. So Adam and Eve, Adam? So hang on.
Yeah.
Who is not what I hold to Adam existing, right? Adam is a fictional story in the Bible. However, if you're referring to the first Homo sapien, there wasn't just a first. There was a plethora of them that developed through the process of evolution.
One of them being Adam West. JCC, do you know Adam West?
I am Batman.
There you go, but
JCC, you don't have a proper answer for that.
I did give you a proper answer. That is a proper answer.
No. That's not a proper answer.
No. But what is a proper answer? Now I'm going to make fun of your accent because it's fun to do. What's a proper answer, dude? God did it? That's what you're going to hear?
Yeah, God.
A lie?
Yeah, God.
Is that what you want to hear?
See,
that's not a proper answer either. That's a belief, right? So the process of evolution can be backed up. It's factual. It's not a mystery. Allah, God, and all the other gods, those are mysteries. Those are beliefs. I'm not here to tell you not to believe, but I gave you a factual answer.
You have no proof for that.
We do have proof. No, now you call me a liar. No, I'm not a liar. There's proof. Evolution is a fact.
JCC, he's a troll.
I'm not a troll, Steve. You are talking so
He
much.
is a
I noticed
troll.
your accent changed a little when I said that. You are a troll.
Yeah, it's okay. This is how I talk.
It's perfectly okay. We welcome trolls. It's okay. We welcome
telling you.
Just as long as you don't take up someone else's time who wants to speak, you and the rest of your trolls are.
Next, he'll be telling us how he works for the FCC.
So we got a couple of new folks up here. DJAA, what's up? You got something to ask? Something?
I actually do. The first thing is I find it funny that there's like Indian Muslim.
He's probably to the northwest or something.
Yeah, but Pakistan. But anyway, that's a side note. I do have a question. Ask that atheist anything. I've been, and this is kind of like a personal dilemma, so I don't want to like project on anybody. But the difference, just on y'all's opinion of atheist or atheism and Gnosticism, is it that great? Is it such a great difference?
Are you asking agnostic or Gnostic? Because Gnostic is saying they know. Agnostic is not knowing.
Okay.
They don't know.
Okay, so Gnosticism is like, and this is just my limited understanding of the whole concept, right? A search for knowledge. So I understand there's agnostic who believe they don't know anything. Is that what y'all are saying?
Well, they don't know anything. It could be any topic, right? What do you know about this? They can say, I'm agnostic on electricity, right?
Right. So, but in regards to religious.
Let me also chime in. Agnostic or Gnosticism could also be that I've been doing the research for years. I am very knowledgeable on both sides, and I have my doubts.
Right.
I don't know, but I'm very knowledgeable.
We're gonna call that agnosticism.
No, but yeah, you guys keep saying agnosticism, and she's saying Gnosticism.
Right, no, I'm actually just trying to real quick before we proceed into my actual question, just to clarify if I'm using the right terminology, because
Well, are you? How can anyone on this stage tell? Because there is
right. What I'm
agnosticism.
saying is the search for knowledge wouldn't that be Gnosticism?
No, Gnosticism. No.
Hey, Impact, I got a question for you. Are you an atheist?
I do not identify as an atheist.
Okay, what do you identify as?
From time to time, I identify as a human.
All right, what do you identify as right now? We'll try that.
A human.
Okay, very good. So you do not identify as an atheist, is that correct?
I fucking
Impact, you're not identifying as an atheist right now, is that correct?
I haven't identified as an atheist since I was a teenager.
All right, very good. Do me a huge favor, just for a few minutes. Don't want us to go on mute, because I think she wanted to ask the atheist, but if she wants to ask a human, she's more than welcome to do that. So just hang on for.
She left.
Well, I guess human is free to speak then.
Being human, we're all human.
Now, do I believe in a God? No, but I don't think that makes me an atheist either.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what atheism is. Not believing in a God.
No, atheism is.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, let's hear his definition, since he disagrees with ours. Impact, what's the definition of atheism?
I think I have a working definition of atheism being a person who spends a whole bunch of time.
We attract all types here. So, Impact, the reason why you're wrong
Steve Apple show
is because somebody can be an atheist and
English
hardly
show for
spend any
atheist
time
schmucks.
talking about it at all. You don't have to spend a lot of time talking about God or a lack of belief in God to be an atheist. You can spend no time talking about it and still be an atheist. The amount of time you spend talking about an atheist has nothing whatsoever to do with the definition of atheism.
What if someone knows in a God? Could they still be an atheist?
The definition of an atheist.
Wait, you couldn't be about to answer the question, but I'll listen.
You didn't think I was answering your question?
Well, not if you said it was a closing question.
Steve Apple.
So what does that mean? Did the answer require me to do something? Just tell me, what does the answer require then?
Closing the questions typically warrant a yes or a no.
Oh, so you want a yes or a no? Well, all you had to do was say that, buddy. Go ahead and ask the question. I'll give you a yes, no, or I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, I heard JCC say.
Okay, you want to talk to JCC? I'll shut up. Would you want to talk to JCC?
No, I'm the.
Okay, then don't mention JCC. Just ask me the question again. I'll give you a yes, no, or I
Chicago
don't
Mayor
know.
of Canada, John Kitover. Go to
That is what
John
you want.
Kitover,
That is what you ask.
Chicago.com. Chicago Mayor vote.
How do you define
This is the Steve Apple Show. Prove to me God exists.
It's somebody who doesn't believe in a God.
Fair enough. Now, what if someone does not believe in a God, but they know in a God?
I have no idea.
Can they be an atheist?
An atheist is somebody who doesn't believe in God.
I hear you, but the answer to my question is
I gave you the answer. I said I have no idea. I don't know.
Now, that really kind of brings up what the lady was talking about on stage, because she did come here and very clearly say Gnosticism, right? And though I'm not very well read on Gnosticism, I know
not talking about the island. I'm talking about what Gnostic means.
No, yeah, JC, I was talking. Yeah, you're talking impact.
So am I. Yeah, I never heard it either. I'm agreeing. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
Agnostic, agnostic, and Gnosticism are all knowledge claims. Has to do with knowing.
Well, I get it, because it's the same K-N-O-T-G, I know language. I'm gonna jump out there and say I probably know words better than anyone on Clubhouse. Now you put more than one together, maybe not, but yeah. So my understanding that it comes from the name of Gnosis, the island.
Okay, I didn't know it came from the word gnosis, but I didn't know it referred to an island. It refers to knowledge, correct?
Yeah, it means knowledge.
Okay, great. So we agree. We agree. So when someone says they are Gnostic, right, they're saying they know. They know with certainty that what they believe is true. Like a Gnostic deist, a Gnostic atheist, you know, those people are Gnostic. They're claiming they know it to be the case.
Okay, I got a question. What country does the island called Gnosis belong to, and where is it located?
I would imagine it's Grecian.
Okay, so Greece owns the island of Gnosis. Okay.
I'm not certain, but I think it's...
You're not certain? I thought you were the smartest person on Clubhouse when it came to words.
Words, yeah.
Well, words. You bring up a word that neither JCC or I have heard of. You said it's an island. So, logic would dictate you would probably, since you're the smartest person on Clubhouse in this category, know where it's located and what country it belongs to. No?
Again, Greece, because it's Crete.
Yeah, you already said that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm familiar with Crete. I'm familiar.
Okay, so
I'm familiar with the island of Gnosis. I've never heard of that before.
Okay. Well, is Crete a part of Greece?
I think so, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about geography now?
Because he brought up the island of Gnosis.
I know. We just said we didn't know those.
No, JCC, you continue.
No, it's okay. We're derailing. It's so funny how that happened.
Anyway. But yeah, so Gnosis, what is a Gnostic again, JCC?
Someone who knows, right? They're not holding a belief.
Wait a minute, he's an expert in words and he's asking you, JCC, what a word means.
So, well, I mean,
that makes no sense to me at all. Sir, why would you ask JCC the definition of a word when you're self-proclaimed the smartest person on Clubhouse when it comes to words? Why would you do that?
One needs to establish a proto-demeanor.
One needs to establish a what?
Okay, well, I mean...
No, what did you say? One needs to establish a what?
A proto-demeanor.
What does that mean?
Scotty, you know what that means? Have you heard of that, Scotty?
I haven't.
Me either.
Scotty might be away. What does that word mean, sir? Hello?
So,
he's in the Matrix on my end.
Yeah, you're breaking up there.
Now you're in the Matrix. Just getting to the good part, and he goes into the Matrix. Now we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, when JCC...
no, what does the word mean? What's the definition of the word?
I'll get to define the word for you. When JCC...
Okay, so you're basically saying, Steve, I'll define the word later, but right now I want to talk about JCC. Okay.
Well, that's your characterization of what I'm doing. So when I ask JCC...
Exactly what you're doing. Go ahead.
That is your characterization.
Well, then define the word first.
I will. You can look it up.
Okay. Go ahead.
I can't even spell it.
It's okay. So, when I asked JCC, the meaning of gnosis,
I get that when you put an A in front of a word, you get the not, so you have knowing and not knowing. However, I've heard Gnosticism used in several different contexts that are really fucking confusing to me. That's a part of my suffering in studying these goddamn words.
And that's probably why you just backed up my conclusion. After speaking to you for 5
Steve
minutes,
got
this
him.
is my opinion.
Steve
Take it
got
for what
him.
it's worth, and I'm no expert, but it's clear to me, black and white, no gray, you are not